Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I had a video request from a loyal follower, and I always take video requests from people who watch my channel as long as it's something I feel I can talk about. And he asked about mass murderers. The recent killing that we had in the news this weekend in Buffalo. There's been plenty of others as examples. But every time this happens, people wonder why does this kind of stuff happen? What kind of weirdo, psychopath, motherfucker does something like that? Normal people don't do that. What drives somebody to go and kill a bunch of random people? We understand revenge killings. And we honor those, for the most part, right? You hear about some horrible story of some guy who was wronged, and he goes and takes his revenge, and we're all kind of secretly just like, good going. And we root for them. Like John Wick, who got his dog killed or whatever, right? In the first movie, and then he goes on a killing spree. We root for that kind of villain, for that type of murder, that revenge. Well, you killed my dog, and we're like, yeah, get him. And he kills, 157 people in that movie, and we root for every one of them. We're not sorry and cry or shocked or like, oh no, I need therapy over any of those murders in that movie. Because we root for it. Because revenge, we root for revenge. We love revenge. We're a violent race. You have to understand that about humans. We're a violent race of Klingons, like from Star Trek. We are. We're brutal. That's why it's funny to me when people get so self-righteous and they try to act like they're so good. Look at humanity. Look at the species that you belong to. You can feel like that you're separate. Well, I'm not like that. Are you? Look at The Purge, the movie The Purge. It's everybody's biggest fantasy, right? At least for nerds. The Purge is the nerd fantasy. Strong people don't care about The Purge. It's a stupid movie. It's a silly plot line. Little emasculated weaklings love it. They get erections the size of the Eiffel Tower when they watch a movie like The Purge because it gives them the pass, the free pass to go and be psychopaths for the night. That's the whole premise of the movie, right? You can go out and rape, rob, steal, kill, murder, whatever you want to do for 24 hours. Because that's your biggest fantasy, right? That's how you want to do, motherfuckers, right? This is this video game mentality. See, I don't have that shit. We grew up with lame video games. I never became addicted to Pac-Man. Fucking boring ass game. Super Mario, who the fuck cares? Play it for a little bit and you're just like, let's go do something else. But you kids have these amazing games, these shooter games, and you can walk through these worlds. I've played some of them. My brother has the virtual reality Oculus kind of shit, and it's amazing. And I can see how people can become addicted to this. How they can become wrapped up in killing. It's simulated, but it can be amazingly fun and therapeutic, right? Just to pretend to kill. I go to the gun range. I have tons of guns. I'm not going to show you them on YouTube because my channel probably get banned, but I love guns. I got an arsenal. I have a room full of weapons. You'd probably laugh if you came to my house and be like, whoa, my fucking God. But I love weapons. I love them. I go to the gun range. And it's an interesting experience because I've often felt that the gun range is a form of therapy. But I've wondered why. Why is this therapeutic? What about this experience of the loud noises, of the loading the weapon? What about this experience of sitting there at the range, popping holes in paper? It's not just fun. A lot of people shoot on a regular basis because it's kind of a form of therapy. They can blow off some steam. They feel better afterwards. What is that about? I think part of it is that, psychologically speaking, and I can't speak for women, but I know for men, that we have an animal in us. We've been domesticated. We've been brainwashed, turned into rats in a rat race, but we still have that wild animal with a bloodlust in us. And going to the range and popping off a few rounds and experiencing the noise and the kick of the weapon, and it's an aggressive, masculine activity. An activity that is simulating killing. And somehow, simulating the action of killing relaxes you, puts you into a state of mind where you feel happier afterwards. It's a twisted, weird thing. Go to the shooting range and experience it for yourself. It's a wonderfully fun time. It's expensive though. Oh my God, bullets are not cheap right now. Go with a 22. Bullets are expensive. You got a 45 or something like that, those bullets are going to cost you a fucking grip. But it's an interesting thing how people look at violence as necessary, as fun, as a release. People do jujitsu. I have friends of mine that do jujitsu 6 days a week. What is it? What's jujitsu? It's fighting. It's combat. And they love it. And these are successful people. They're not psychopaths. And they love violence. They love it. It's their lifestyle. Violence is their life. It sounds so weird to say it. They wouldn't say it that way. They would be like, wow, it's jujitsu. It's not violence. It is. It's fighting. It's violence. I'm not putting it down. It's a wonderful thing. You should get into it. It's just, you have to be honest. We get off on violence as a species. We love it. We're violent people. I could go on and on and on and on and on with examples of how we as humans justify our own violence, get off on it. We love it. So getting back to the question, why do people go on mass murders? Well, the first answer is that people love violence and that not everybody has the restraint, like my buddies who are jiu-jitsu masters, to say this is training time and I'm not going to be in line at 7-Eleven and grab somebody just because I feel like it, because I have a violent urge. You know, you can control yourself. You can control that monster. Jordan Peterson talks about this. Some people can't control that monster. They act out. They go crazy. They become overwhelmed. So there's that. And I wanted to make that point, that there's a certain type of person that is quick to violence, and when you're quick to that type of violence is negativity. And that type of negativity, I'm not saying it's not necessary, it's just it is a negative act, and that type of negativity is a bottomless pit that's an abyss. You can, in a violent rage, when violence takes you over, it's endless. There is no ceiling. There's no ground level. You are in a different realm now that is endless. The amount of violence you can experience, the amount of hatred and anger you can experience can go on forever. You'll never reach the end. And there's people that suffer from that. And that's one reason why people go on mass murders, is because have mental problems and they can't control themselves and they get overwhelmed. They become wild men. And this is their response, is to kill. Now, with this guy in New York and with many of these mass murderers, there's a pattern of young, under the age of 30, white man, usually skinny, I don't know why, usually emasculated, I don't know why, usually nerdy, not outspoken, not with friends, a loner, not athletic. You don't see bodybuilder, real good shape dudes. They're always some complete and total loser with no life, who sits around all day by himself on the computer, becoming more and more indoctrinated with extremism and frustration, which go together. I've known a lot of people who have been extremists in their ideology. I've known some skinheads, some neo-Nazi skinheads. And some of these guys can handle the ideology and they can function in a world, and you would never know that they hold those beliefs. It might be your coworker, you would never know. But then there's an element of that scene, of people who join that scene, and I'm not just talking about the punk rock thing. There's a whole world out there of hatred, and people join it online. And there's an element, there's a certain type of person who can quickly become overwhelmed with the conspiracies. And the conspiracies usually lie in these realms of powerlessness, of attack. We're being attacked as a culture. This is what replacement theory is all about. And you can become overwhelmed to the point of action. It's no longer just an intellectual debate. It gets to a point where you feel like something has to be done. I have to do something. And in that desperation of feeling like this is it, the final battle's here, they go out and they commit these horrible acts. They plot them first and then they go and commit them. They fantasize about them. These are also video game nerds. And I strongly believe that video games are harmful, especially when they're these simulation games of these shooter games, which train you to become terrorists. It trains you to go out there and to just shoot random people. So you've already done it for thousands of hours. Doing it in real life is no big deal. Even this shooter in Buffalo, he live streamed the whole thing. There's camera footage, which I've seen, of just the barrel of his weapon as he's walking through the parking lot and going into the building. It's exactly like a video game. But the problem with the ideological neo-Nazi who gets radicalized online and becomes frustrated to the point where they have to go to action is that they develop a filter. They see life through a filter, and they have nobody. They don't have people in their lives to snap them out of it, to bring them back, to reel them in, and to bring them back to life and say, no, you're just, acting crazy. That kind of help can be life-saving. Don't just walk away from people if you feel like that they're straying from a healthy path mentally. Go and bring them, reel them in. And that's how every one of these motherfuckers, these Columbine types, these little school shooters, they're all the same. It's a personality type. It's a disorder. It can be cured. But I've seen this kind of thing. And with that filter that you put over your eyes of seeing the whole world as replacement theory or whatever your particular conspiracy is, because there's lots of them. Some people will overlap a couple different conspiracies and they just see everything like this. And you wake up one day and that's when those bullets are going into that magazine. That's when you're laying out your body armor and your clothes and you're saying, this is the day. You're picking a spot on a fucking map. And this is how every one of them happens. They're overwhelmed losers with mental problems. And we have a major mental health problem in our country that is not being addressed. Social workers should be everywhere and it should be free. How many of you out there have seen a psychiatrist and need to? How many of you watching me right now say that you don't like to go to psychiatrists? How many of you out there right now are avoiding your own mental health issues or ignoring the mental health issues of those around you? And then ask yourself the next time one of these fucking shooters happens, ask yourself why, naively. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? When you ignore everyone around you. Wake the fuck up. Thanks for watching.